What if I told you the last digit of your birth year predicts your biggest life challenge? Not astrology, not guesswork, ancient Buddhist wisdom that's been hidden for centuries. You've probably heard zodiac signs, personality tests, all that. But there's an older system, one Buddhist monks used to understand people's deepest struggles and strengths. And it all comes down to one number, the last digit of your birth year. This isn't about fate, it's about patterns. See, in Buddhist teachings, numbers are like mirrors. They reflect energies we're here to work with. And once you see yours, so much about your life starts making sense. Ending in 0 or 5, the balance seekers. If the last digit of your birth year is a 0 or a 5, your life isn't just about living, it's about finding balance in a world that constantly tries to tip you over. This isn't some random personality trait. In Buddhist teachings, numbers carry energy, and yours? It's all about equilibrium. You're the kind of person who feels everything intensely. Joy hits you like sunlight. Pain cuts deeper than it does for most. That's not a weakness, it's your superpower. But like any superpower, it comes with a challenge, not letting those extremes control you. Think about the last time something really good happened to you. Maybe you got a promotion, fell in love, or finally achieved something you'd been working toward. How did it feel? For most people, it's a nice moment. For you, it's euphoric. But then think about the last time something went wrong, a disappointment, a loss, a betrayal. For others, it stings. For you, it can feel like the ground is crumbling beneath you. That's the double-edged sword of your energy. You don't just experience life, you feel it in your bones, in your soul. This intensity is why balance isn't just a nice idea for you, it's a survival skill. Without it, you risk swinging from one extreme to another, riding highs until they crash, or sinking into lows that feel endless. The good news, you're not meant to avoid these extremes. That's impossible. You're meant to navigate them. Like bamboo in a storm, you bend so you don't break. Bamboo doesn't resist the wind, it moves with it, staying rooted but flexible. That's your lesson. So how do you actually do this in real life? First, recognize when you're being pulled too far in one direction. When you're riding a high, check yourself. Are you getting reckless, overpromising, ignoring reality because the good feelings are too good to question? That's when you need to ground yourself. Take a breath, slow down, enjoy the moment, but don't let it sweep you away. On the flip side, when you're in pain, real deep pain, don't isolate yourself. Don't let it convince you that this feeling is forever. Pain for you is like a storm, intense but temporary. The more you can remember that, the quicker you'll find your way back to center. The biggest mistake 0s and 5s make, thinking balance means being neutral. No highs, no lows, just flat. That's not balance, that's numbness. Your gift is your depth of feeling. The goal isn't to mute it, it's to ride it without letting it drown you. Ending in 1 or 6, the builders. If your birth year ends in a 1 or a 6, you're not here to just pass through life, you're here to build it. Not just in the obvious ways, careers, houses, families, but in the invisible ways too. The systems you create, the ideas you bring to life, the way you shape the world around you, simply by being in it. You're a creator, a fixer, someone who looks at what is and can't help but see what could be. But here's the catch, the thing no one tells you, that vision. It's both your greatest strength and your biggest obstacle, because when you can always see how things could be better, it's easy to hate how they are right now. That's what Buddhist texts call the builder's paradox. You have this incredible ability to imagine perfection, but since nothing in life is ever perfect, you're constantly frustrated. Your projects never feel finished. Your relationships never feel quite right. There's always something to tweak, improve, or redo. This shows up in small ways every day. That email you rewrite 5 times before sending. The way you rearrange furniture endlessly, never satisfied. The relationships where you keep trying to help the other person grow, even when they haven't asked for it. It's not that you're controlling, though some might accuse you of that. It's that you see potential everywhere, and it's hard to leave it untapped. Here's the hard truth. Life isn't a project you can perfect. It's a series of drafts. Some you'll nail, some you'll mess up. Most will be somewhere in between, and that's okay. Your lesson isn't to stop building, it's to stop waiting for perfect before you call something done. Think about the last thing you procrastinated on. Was it because you didn't know how to start? Or because you knew once you started, it would never feel finished enough? That's your paradox in action. The way out: set deadlines, not for completion, but for release. Tell yourself, on this date, I let this go, whether it's perfect or not. The same goes for people. You can't fix anyone, no matter how clearly you see their potential. Love them as they are, or walk away, But don't stay just hoping they'll become who you think they could be. That's not building, that's waiting. Your superpower is that you create reality. Your challenge is learning when to stop editing it. Ending in 2 or 7, the seers. If your life path number ends in 2 or 7, you are one of the seers, the ones who notice what others overlook. You see patterns in the chaos, truths hidden behind smiles, and the unspoken currents running beneath every conversation. This is your gift, but it is also your burden. To see deeply is to feel deeply, and like a sponge, you absorb the energies around you, whether you intend to or not. The world for you is not just a series of events, but a tapestry of interconnected meanings, symbols and whispers that most people walk past without a second glance. This ability to perceive beyond the surface makes you invaluable in relationships, in work, and in moments when intuition is the only compass that matters. You are the friend who senses the unspoken sadness behind a laugh, the colleague who picks up on the tension in a room before anyone else, the stranger who can tell when someone is lying just by the flicker in their eyes. But with this comes a weight, an emotional toll that few understand, because when you see so much, you are also forced to carry it. The pain of others, the hidden agendas, the silent struggles, they all land on your shoulders, and unlike most people, you cannot simply shrug them off. The lesson for you, then, is that of the lotus flower. The lotus grows in muddy waters, yet it does not become the mud. It rises, untouched, pristine and beautiful despite its surroundings. This is what you must learn to do. Not every truth you uncover needs to be spoken. Not every energy you absorb needs to be held onto. Not every battle you perceive needs to be fought. The greatest challenge for a seer is not in seeing, it is in knowing when to look away. Protecting your peace becomes your most sacred duty. You may feel compelled to fix, to heal, to expose, to intervene, but the truth is, not everything requires your attention. Some truths exist for you to observe, not to engage with. Some energies are meant to pass through you, not take root within you. The more you master this, the more you will find that your gift does not have to be a source of exhaustion, but one of profound wisdom. You will always see more than others. That will never change. But what can change is how you let it affect you. The world needs seers like you, those who can look into the depths and bring back understanding. But it needs you whole, not drained. It needs you clear, not clouded. So learn to rise like the lotus, grow from the mud, but do not let it cling to you. Ending in 3 or 8, the transformers. If your life path number ends in 3 or 8, you are a transformer, a force of change, a catalyst, someone who walks into a room and shifts the energy without even trying. Your presence alone alters the dynamics around you. People feel it. Situations bend in your wake. You are here not to maintain the status quo, but to disrupt it, to break down what no longer serves and rebuild something stronger in its place. This is your mission, whether you fully realized it or not. You are drawn to chaos not because you invite it, but because chaos needs you. It seeks you out, presenting you with challenges, crises and upheavals, not as punishments, but as assignments. Where others see disaster, you see raw material. Where others feel overwhelmed, you feel a strange sense of purpose, because deep down you know you were built for this. The old texts say that your life is not about avoiding storms, but about learning to dance in the rain. And if you look back, you'll see the truth in this. The moments that shaped you, the trials that forged you, were never random. They were classrooms. Every conflict, every setback, every sudden twist of fate was an opportunity for you to do what you do best, transform. But this power comes with a price. You may find that stability feels elusive, that just when things settle, another wave comes. You may wonder why life doesn't let you rest. The answer is simple. Rest is not your purpose. Growth is. Evolution is. You are not here to live a quiet, unchanging life. You are here to be the storm and the calm after it, the breakdown and the breakthrough. The key for you is to stop resisting the chaos and instead learn to work with it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to enjoy the turbulence. But if you accept that this is how your energy operates, that you are a force of change by nature, then you can move through life with far less frustration. The crises that find you are not there to break you. They are there to remake you, and this extends beyond your personal life. You are meant to transform not just yourself but the world around you. People will come to you in their own moments of chaos, sensing that you can guide them through. Systems, relationships, projects, they all shift under your touch. You don't always have to know how you do it. You just do. So stop fearing the storms. Stop resenting the upheavals. They are not your enemies. They are your partners in growth. Your life is a series of transformations, each one preparing you for the next. And when you finally embrace this, when you stop fighting the current and learn to ride it, you will find that you are unstoppable, because you were never meant to live a small, safe life. You were meant to change the world. Ending in 4 or 9, the root diggers. If your life path number ends in 4 or 9, you are not built for the shallows. You are a root digger, one of those rare souls who cannot skim the surface of life without feeling restless, unfulfilled, or even claustrophobic, while others are content with routines, traditions, and the unexamined flow of daily existence. You are the one asking, why? Why do we live this way? Why do we believe what we believe? Why does anything matter? You don't just want answers, you need to feel them in your bones. This relentless depth-seeking defines you. It shapes your relationships, your work, even your spirituality. You don't just love, you dissect love, question its boundaries, its illusions, its rawest truths. You don't just work, you need your labor to mean something, to contribute to something larger than yourself. And when it doesn't, you either rebel or retreat. Superficiality suffocates you, small talk drains you. You crave substance, and if you can't find it, you'll either dig until you do, or walk away entirely. But this journey is not without its loneliness. Root diggers often feel like outsiders, like they're wandering in places others don't even realize exist. While people around you are busy chasing promotions, trends, or the next distraction, you're wrestling with existential questions that most would rather ignore. It can be isolating, but here's what you must remember. In many spiritual traditions, particularly in Buddhism, there is the concept of the torchbearer, the one who walks into the darkness so others don't have to. That is you. You are the one willing to face the shadows, to question the unspoken rules, to dismantle illusions. And while it may not always feel like it, this is a sacred role. There will be times when you feel stuck, when the digging leads you in circles, when the questions have no answers, when the roots you're trying to grow into seem tangled and unyielding. In those moments, it's easy to believe you're lost. But the truth is, you're not lost. You're rooting. Growth doesn't always look like forward motion. Sometimes it happens underground, unseen, in the quiet dark where no one can witness it. Those periods of stillness, of frustration, of feeling like you're going nowhere, that's when the deepest work is being done. The world needs root diggers. It needs people who refuse to accept things at face value, who are willing to dismantle broken systems, who can sit with the discomfort of not knowing until the truth reveals itself. But you must also learn patience with yourself, with the process, with a world that often prefers simplicity over depth. Not everyone will understand your need to excavate, and that's okay. Your path was never about being understood by the masses. It was about finding the truths that set you free. So keep digging, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when the surface world tries to convince you that you're overcomplicating things. The roots you grow will one day become unshakable, and when that happens, you won't just stand tall, you'll become a shelter for others who are still searching for solid ground. Why this matters more now than ever: we live in a world that thrives on distraction, endless scrolling, curated personas, the constant hum of notifications. Modern life is designed to keep us skimming the surface, to make us forget that there is anything deeper to reach for. In this environment, knowing your core energy isn't just a curiosity, it's a survival tool, because if you don't understand the patterns you're here to master, life will keep presenting you with the same lessons over and over, until you do. Think of it like this: life is a school, and the universe is a relentless teacher. It doesn't let you move on to the next lesson until you've passed the current one. And how do you know what you're being tested on? Your life path number is the clue. It reveals the central theme of your journey, the challenges you'll face, the strengths you'll develop, the traps you'll keep falling into, until you finally learn to recognize them. For the seers, 2 or 7, the test is boundaries, knowing what to take in and what to let pass. For the transformers, 3 or 8, it's embracing chaos as a catalyst rather than resisting it. For the root diggers, 4 or 9, it's patience, trusting that the digging itself is the purpose, even when the answers aren't immediate. These aren't random struggles, they're assignments. And until you learn the lesson, life will keep circling back, presenting you with variations of the same core challenge. This is why self-awareness is no longer optional. In a world that pushes you to conform, to consume, to stay numb, knowing your energy is an act of rebellion. It's the difference between living reactively, constantly thrown off course by external forces, and living with intention, recognizing that every challenge is part of a larger curriculum. Your number is your cheat sheet. It tells you where you'll keep getting tested, yes, but it also tells you where your greatest power lies. The seer's depth of perception is also their gift of insight. The transformer's chaos is also their ability to rebuild. The root digger's restlessness is also their capacity for profound wisdom. The very thing that trips you up is the thing that once mastered becomes your strength, so pay attention. The patterns in your life aren't accidents. The recurring struggles, the themes that keep appearing, the types of people or situations that always seem to find you, they're not random. They're your syllabus, and the faster you learn to read it, the sooner you can stop repeating the same lessons and start moving forward, because in the end, this isn't just about numbers, it's about waking up, it's about realizing that you're not a passive participant in your life, you're a student, a warrior, a creator, and the more consciously you engage with your journey, the less life will feel like something that happens to you, and more like something you're actively shaping. That's the real secret, not just knowing your number, but using it, not just surviving the tests, but mastering them. And once you do, everything changes. The shadow side of each number. Every light casts a shadow. Every strength, when overused or misunderstood, becomes a weakness. This is the nature of energy. It is never one-dimensional. And so while your life path number reveals your gifts, it also contains hidden traps, patterns of self-sabotage that emerge when you operate on autopilot. Recognizing these shadows is not about self-judgment, it's about liberation, because what you can name, you can master. If you're a 0 or a 5, your gift is freedom, the ability to adapt, to flow, to experience life without rigid attachment. But this same fluidity has a dark side, the tendency to become a people-pleaser, a shapeshifter who molds themselves to fit whoever is in front of them. You avoid conflict, not always because you fear it, but because you can see every perspective, and in that seeing, you lose yourself. The shadow here is a lack of grounding, a reluctance to plant your feet and say, "This is who I am," even if it disappoints. Without that anchor, you risk floating through life without ever truly inhabiting it. For 1s and 6s, the drive for excellence is both your power and your prison. You are the builders, the achievers, the ones who can turn visions into reality. But your shadow is the relentless chase for more success, more validation, more control, until one day you wake up exhausted, wondering why nothing ever feels like enough. The world rewards your hustle, but it will never reward you for it, because the hunger you're trying to feed isn't for external accolades. It's for the internal permission to finally rest, to know that you are enough, exactly as you are. 2s and 7s, the seers, walk through life with an open heart and a penetrating gaze. You sense what others miss, and that is your magic. But your shadow is absorption, drowning in emotions that aren't yours, carrying burdens you weren't meant to hold. You mistake empathy for obligation, believing that because you can feel everything, you must fix everything. But not every wound is yours to heal. Not every truth is yours to voice. Your real work is learning to discern when to dive deep and when to let the current pass you by. If you're a 3 or 8, the transformer, you are a catalyst. Your presence alone shifts energy. But your shadow is the unconscious creation of chaos, not because you're destructive, but because you thrive in transformation. And sometimes, without realizing it, you stir storms simply because stillness feels like stagnation. You mistake drama for aliveness, intensity for meaning. But true power isn't in constant upheaval, it's in knowing when to disrupt and when to build from the foundations you've already laid. And for the 4s and 9s, the root diggers, your depth is your superpower. But your shadow is isolation, retreating so far into your own mind that you forget others can't follow you there. You intellectualize your emotions, analyzing them instead of feeling them, and in doing so you build walls where there could be bridges. Wisdom isn't found in detachment alone. Sometimes the deepest truths are uncovered not in solitude, but in the messy, imperfect act of connection. Awareness is your armor. These shadows aren't flaws, they're the natural counterbalance to your light. The goal isn't to eliminate them, but to recognize when they're taking over, when the very traits that make you extraordinary start working against you. That recognition is the first step toward reclaiming your power, because the shadow isn't the enemy, ignorance is. How to use this knowledge. This isn't about putting yourself in a box, it's about recognizing the patterns that already exist, the recurring themes, the familiar struggles, the lessons that life keeps circling back to. Because once you see the pattern, you can change it. Start by paying attention to the moments when you feel stuck. That frustration, that sense of here we go again, that's your signal. Ask yourself, is this my numbers challenge showing up? For the 0-5, is this another instance of avoiding confrontation to keep the peace? For the 1-6, is this burnout disguised as ambition? For the 2-7, Is this the weight of emotions that aren't yours to carry? For the 4-9, is this isolation masquerading as independence? The moment you ask that question, something shifts. You're no longer at the mercy of the pattern, you're observing it, and in that space of awareness, you have a choice. You can default to the old way, the shadow's way, or you can try something new. This isn't about fixing yourself, it's about working with your energy, instead of against it. If you're a 0-5, that might mean practicing small acts of asserting your truth, even if it feels uncomfortable. If you're a 1-6, it might mean redefining success on your own terms, not the world's. If you're a 2-7, it might mean setting energetic boundaries. If you're a 3-8, it might mean asking, is this chaos necessary? If you're a 4-9, it might mean letting someone in, even when it feels safer to stay hidden. The patterns won't disappear overnight, but each time you recognize them, you weaken their hold. Over time, what once felt like an inescapable loop becomes just another habit, one you can interrupt, one you can change. This is the real power of knowing your number. It's not a label, it's a lens. A way of decoding your life so you can stop repeating the same lessons and start moving forward, because the universe will keep testing you until you pass. And now, you have the cheat sheet, real-life examples that'll shock you. Numbers aren't just abstract concepts. They pulse through our lives in ways we often miss, revealing hidden patterns in the collective energy of our world. If you look closely, you'll notice how years that share the same final digit carry eerily similar themes, as if the universe is running us through the same classroom but with different disguises for the lesson. Take 2020, a year ending in 0.0 is the number of infinite potential, of cycles completing and beginning anew, but also of balance, or more accurately, the test of balance. And what was 2020, if not a global reckoning with equilibrium? The pandemic forced the world to pause, to confront what happens when the scales tip too far in one direction. Systems collapsed, routines shattered, and suddenly everyone was faced with the same question: how do I find stability when the ground is constantly shifting? This wasn't random. It was the energy of 0 playing out on a massive scale, the invitation to reset, but only after being stripped down to essentials. Then came 2021, ending in 1. 1 is the number of new beginnings, of rebuilding from the ground up. And true to form, 2021 was the year the world tentatively stepped forward, trying to piece together a new normal. Businesses pivoted, people changed careers, entire industries transformed, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. The energy of 1 is raw, unfiltered initiative, and that year demanded it of everyone. Those who resisted, who clung to how things used to be, struggled the most. Those who embraced the energy of 1, the pioneers, the scrappy innovators, found unexpected opportunities in the wreckage. By 2023, ending in 3, the theme shifted again. 3 is the number of transformation, of chaos alchemized into something new, and look at what unfolded. AI exploded into mainstream consciousness, rewriting the rules of work and creativity overnight. Labor strikes surged worldwide as workers demanded systemic change. Even geopolitics seemed to spiral into a state of constant flux. This wasn't just change, it was metamorphosis, the kind that happens when pressure meets potential. The energy of 3 doesn't do subtlety, it ignites, and in 2023, that ignition was everywhere. These aren't coincidences, they're reflections of how numbers operate as cosmic mirrors, showing us the larger currents we're all swimming in. The same way your personal life path number highlights your individual challenges, the numbers of our shared years reveal the collective tests we're facing. But here's the crucial truth. Numbers don't control us, they reflect us. They're not dictating the future, they're illuminating the patterns that are already there, the lessons we're already working through. When you understand this, you stop seeing life as something that happens to you and start seeing it as something you're co-creating. A year ending in 5 will always bring tests of freedom and adaptation, but how you meet those tests is up to you. A year ending in 8 will always confront us with power, how we use it, how we abuse it, how we reclaim it, but the choice remains in our hands. So the next time you notice a year unfolding in a particular way, look at its final digit. Then ask yourself, how is this energy showing up in my life? Because once you see the pattern, you can work with it instead of against it, and that changes everything. The 1 practice for your number. Knowing your number is only the first step. The real magic happens when you take that knowledge and turn it into action, when you give your energy a daily ritual to keep it aligned, strong and intentional. Each number has a shadow, yes, but it also has a practice, a simple, repeatable way to stay grounded in your power. If you're a 0 or 5, your practice is 5 minutes of daily stillness. Zeros and 5s thrive on motion, on possibility, on the next adventure, but that very strength can become a weakness when you never pause to integrate your experiences. Without stillness, you become a leaf blowing in the wind, reacting to every shift but never truly rooted. So each day, sit in silence. No agenda, no meditation app, no forcing yourself to clear your mind. Just be. Let the thoughts come and go. Let yourself exist without needing to do anything. This tiny anchor will keep you from losing yourself in the constant chase for the next thing. For 1s and 6s, your practice is creating one unfinished thing each week. Your drive for excellence is a gift, but it can also become a prison if you only allow yourself to put perfect work into the world. So once a week, deliberately release something incomplete, a draft, a sketch, an idea half-formed. Share it before it's ready. Let yourself be seen in the process, not just the outcome. This isn't about carelessness, it's about rewiring your relationship with worth. You are not what you produce. You are already enough. 2s and 7s, your practice is visualizing an energy shield each morning. Before you step into the world, close your eyes and imagine a protective barrier around you, a shimmering light, a suit of armor, whatever resonates. Set the intention, I allow only what serves me to enter. This isn't about shutting out the world, it's about discerning what you take in. You are not responsible for every emotion, every problem, every unspoken tension around you. Your empathy is a superpower, but only when you choose how to wield it. If you're a 3 or 8, your practice is asking, am I fixing or transforming? Transformers are wired to leap into action, to disrupt, to solve, but not every situation needs your intervention. Some things need to break before they can be rebuilt. So when you feel the urge to dive in, pause, ask yourself, is this chaos necessary? Am I rushing to fix something that actually needs to fall apart? Not every fire needs to be put out. Some need to burn away what's no longer serving you. And for the 4s and 9s, your practice is scheduling wandering time with no goal. Root diggers are so used to seeking depth that they often forget the value of meandering, of letting the mind roam without an agenda. So once a week, block off time to wander, literally or metaphorically. Walk without a destination, read without a purpose. Let yourself not dig for once. The deepest insights often come when you're not looking for them. These practices aren't about adding more to your to-do list. They're about subtracting the noise that keeps you from hearing your own wisdom. Start small, be consistent, watch what shifts, because when you align your daily habits with your core energy, life stops feeling like a series of obstacles and starts feeling like a dance, one you finally know the steps to. Your birth number isn't your destiny, it's your curriculum. The challenges you keep facing, they're not random, they're precise. And now you've got the map.